Hey everybody, this is Scotty. Just a note that in the episode that you're about to hear, I was having some mic issues, so if I sound a little bit different, that's why. Luckily, everybody else sounds beautiful. So, with that, on with the show.
The purpose of today's experiment is to prove that the object behind me, the laser glass, is home to an observable, predictable, supernatural force. There's no scientific equivalent for the word haunted, so we'll just say this object is responsible for at least 45 deaths in the 4 centuries of its recorded existence.
Can I just stop you for a second?
No.
You're listening to the Fun with Horror podcast with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hello and welcome to episode number 124 of Fun with Horror, the movie review podcast in which 2 long-distance best friends stay in touch by taking turns giving each other horror movies to watch and discuss. Last week was Andrew's choice, and that movie is Magic, and that's going to be in our next episode. But today, we have a very special bonus episode. We're going to be talking about the movie Oculus, directed by Mike Flanagan, and I'm not joined by Andrew. I'm joined by our beautiful, sexy, hot, luscious friends, Chuddle the Pod.
Ooh.
So let me welcome to Fun with Horror, Brian, Sam, and of course, Ross.
Oh, hey. This is amazing.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yes, so much.
And I would also like to say, I know a little early on recording, but not when you're hearing it. Happy birthday, Scotty.
Happy
Sam's gonna be the first
birthday.
one. Happy birthday.
Yeah, Sam beat everybody. Sam beat you guys.
I'd also like to say that I think us being here recording for your birthday podcast means we're your new best friends.
Yeah.
Oh, we take the mantle for the
Wow.
year, right?
Yep.
No
Sorry,
takey
no.
backsies.
Andrew, you got to come on Chuddle the Pod to earn it back now.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. There we go.
Andrew may jump in at some point. We're not sure. It's according to if he's able to, but for now, it's just us in this dark room by ourselves.
Ooh.
It's where we usually are.
Body.
I was curious where all the candles came from.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's my ritual.
Ooh. Oh, I like it. I'm for it.
And because nobody has video, I'd just like everybody to know that Ross started this episode with no shirt on.
Absolutely nothing. To be totally honest with you, I kind of reversed it because I had no shirt on, and now I'm just Donald ducking it. So there's
Okay.
a shirt up top, but since it's a video, you can't really see what's going on down south.
It's like a mullet.
Yeah, it's like a mullet.
So let's see. As of today, you guys, your last episode was what?
Low
Good
lives.
question. Low lives.
Low Lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's right.
Awesome.
That episode just came out with the nightclub on it. And then we have 2 episodes with Scotty on it. We did
Yes.
Return of the Living Dead, which was our 100th movie. Yeah.
So much fun. That was so
Great
much fun.
time. And then he came back shortly after that for No One Will Save You,
Yes.
which was also a good time.
That was a really
And-
good time too.
And then I sort of was like, all right, you're not allowed to come back on until you invite us on your show. And here we are.
That's exactly what
Oh,
happened.
great. Now we
I
can-
didn't even want to have you on this show, but Sam made me.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's kind of like between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. So, and then tomorrow you guys it's Tuesday now because that's when Fun with Horror. will go.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And I actually love this because after we release, the next day I get to look forward to a new Chuddle the Pod episode. What do you guys have tomorrow?
Oh,
That'll be the Descent.
Yes. Thank you, Ross. The Descent. What's right behind you?
Yes.
Ross
Oh,
always likes to
yeah,
have
look at
fun
that.
wallpaper behind him recording. So
With the Horror House podcast.
Yes.
Ooh, Colby.
We go. Yeah.
Colby was just on our first Patreon episode. And
Oh,
we
that's
talked
awesome.
we talked about the coffee table.
I
And-
really
Still
want
need
to
to
see it.
see
I
it.
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And real quick, while we're talking about Patreon, everybody out there, Fun with Horror, we just started our new Patreon. we've got some listeners, we've got some or subscribers, whatever you call them, patronizers, and
Patronizers.
I like that.
Patronize you.
So
Hell yeah.
go join our Patreon. We're going to have some exclusive episodes for you. And I'd like to give a big Fun with Horror thank you to Stanley and Alex from the Gory Gays. They just became members.
Ooh.
Ooh, awesome. Hey.
So guys, let's all tell Stanley and Alex that, hey, guys, we love you.
We love
all together.
Oh, wait, we love you.
we love
Yeah,
you.
Oh, we're gonna do it at the
We
same
love
time.
you.
Okay, hold on, ready?
We love you.
One,
We
two,
love you.
3. We
We
love
love
you.
you.
There we go.
Yeah, that was great.
You'll put that together. It'll sound
They-
beautiful.
it'll sound- yeah.
harmonize it. Put like
You should-
reverb on it.
Auto-tune it.
Yes. Oh, that's
They will actually be coming on an episode of Chuddle the Pod sometime soon. It's not
At
planned
some
yet,
point.
but it's an open
We want
invite.
them.
Open
Yes.
invite, yeah.
It's an imp and void.
I'm Australian.
Mike.
Okay, so real quick, for our intro here, we always like to ask a few questions of new guests. And so we're going to ask you 3 questions each. First of all, favorite horror movie? Ross.
Oh no. I would okay. Oh man, if I have to whittle it to one, because usually I have like a top 3.
You can say top 3.
Okay, they're all fighting and contest. So I would say American Werewolf in London, original Creep Show, and man, I honestly it's in my head, and it's for Charlotte Monster Squad. So that would be probably my top 3.
I was.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not
that
gonna lie.
sounds right to me.
I was expecting Return of the Living Dead somewhere.
It is. It's literally like it's that 3, and then it's
And then that's
it's
rotation.
4 or
It's-
5. Yeah.
yes, but they all it's like they're in a big old
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of those movies
menage
are-
movie. They're all rolling around in bed together. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Nice.
yeah.
Brian.
I'm going to say the Blair Witch Project. I usually say what Sam's going to say, but I'm going to switch
Sure.
it up because it is also what Sam is going to say. But just to whittle it down to that, I'm on the Blair Witch kick. Met the cast recently. Fully support them and their movement to finally get paid. And
Yes.
You
Got that
posted
poster
at
sitting behind me.
Lionsgate on Instagram. I saw.
yeah. Added Lionsgate. Why not? Let's go.
Yeah, they don't
Chuddle
care.
The Pod's coming for you.
I think Josh was saying I don't mind calling out Lionsgate. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean
absolutely.
it's called out multiple times, and I was like, yeah,
Bam.
why not? There was a Variety article at the time of recording that just recently came out, kind of calling to light what's been going on, and that's also been rumblings. I don't know why we're on this Blair Witch tangent, but
It's your
kind of like
favorite
within
movie.
that world, there's
Yeah.
been rumblings and all this stuff, but they're trying to be like, hey, you guys continue. We are the Blair Witch Project, and like we should
Yeah.
get some residuals for this.
That makes sense.
Right, exactly.
They should get more than a
I
fruit
support
basket.
this. The fruit basket is the wildest thing. When it made $100 million, they all got a fruit basket.
Basket.
Mm.
Wild.
That's incredible. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that one, and yeah, I think
That's a good
good
one.
for-
That's a good one. We can have a long conversation about Blair Witch. So,
Mm-hmm.
Sam,
Love to do.
what's your favorite?
Scream. It
Scream.
is what it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Speaking of Lionsgate effing people over.
yeah. Well,
Well, I just
Is it-
brought
is
everything to a screaming silence.
is it Lionsgate with Scream?
Wasn't it Lionsgate?
I thought
Wait.
it was Spyglass.
No, I thought it
Or
was
did-
Lionsgate that screwed over Melissa Barrera that fired her. Was it Spyglass?
Spyglass, yeah. Spyglass
Oh.
for sure.
Well,
Because
because
I remember-
Lionsgate
Spyglass.
owns Spyglass?
Maybe.
Probably.
I actually that I wouldn't be surprised with.
you
Lionsgate
go.
has its big old lion paws and everything.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Otherwise, I'm talking crap on Lionsgate for no reason, except for Blair Witch.
But
Which
yeah,
isn't good enough.
definitely has its own drama going on. I mean, it's crazy now that we're getting a 7, but Nev Campbell's coming back and Kevin Williamson's directing it, and it's just all it's like
It's crazy.
they're doing everything they can to try and make it up to the fans, which
Mhm.
I don't. It just makes me even more mad. But anyway, yeah,
You'll still
Scream.
see it. You'll
It
still
was
see
the
it.
first. It was the first. Yeah, I am gonna see it, but I'm gonna buy a ticket to something else and sneak in. The first
Stick it to 'em.
one was the first movie that like scared the shit out of me.
You did it. You were the first one.
I did it.
Great. Now this episode's explicit.
Scotty, just to let you know, preparing for the intro to this episode, I stood outside of my house and swore for a solid 25 minutes just so I could get it out of my system so that I could come on.
I love that. And just so everybody out there listening knows, I have fully told Chuddle the Pod that they can say shit, fuck, whatever they want. We don't censor our guests. Andrew, that's just how Andrew and I talk, and it just happens to be like that. So
yeah,
it's not like a rule that we wrote down.
I'm playing in your sandbox. I want to play in your sandbox, but
well, you already ruined it.
Happen from time to time. I know.
This episode's explicit, so.
The Scream.
Listen to our Stephen Shucky episode.
Question number 2. It's going to be 30 minutes, just this intro. Question number 2, and I'm going to start with you, Sam, because I already know the answer. Is there anything, if anybody listens to the Chuddle the Pod podcast and they listen to the intro, you'll hear the lovely vocal tones of Sam saying what?
I don't know. I say
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Right.
Oh, yes, starting with me.
Is there anything in horror movies that does get to you?
Get to me?
Yeah, I won't say scared. I won't say scared.
Yeah, because I'm a big boy that doesn't get scared, famously.
Yeah, exactly.
Famously.
Some body horror can get to me, especially if it's self-harm type stuff.
Okay.
I really don't like.
Torture porn type stuff?
Torture porn I don't like, but it doesn't necessarily get to me. It's not something I'm interested in, but like if like Return of the Living Dead 3.
Haven't seen it.
Okay. So someone sticks like glass and all sorts of stuff through their body, and that really bothers me.
Okay.
And something about a person doing it to themselves is what bothers me more so than watching someone do it to someone else.
Interesting. All right, let's go backwards. Brian, is there anything that scares you or gets to you?
Scares, again, is a weird word. Some alien stuff can. That's always been a tricky thing, but like not something like no one will save you. That didn't scare me at all.
Right.
But I think certain essay stuff with if it's like gratuitous, especially gratuitous, and I'm just kind of gives me the ick.
Okay.
Totally. Rape revenge movies where like the first hour is the rape.
Yeah, I don't need to like you can just tell me that happened. I get it. Like that's a bad thing. I get it.
And just to be clear, we're talking essays and sexual assault, not Hispanic people saying essay.
Yes.
Oh,
correct.
Yes.
Or a paper.
Correct.
School.
Yes, or a paper. Somebody reading their
essay
thesis.
An essay movie.
You know,
I
in
hate
the
essays
Christmas
about
Story
films.
when they do essays, I hate that part. Like, yeah, no, that's kind of like one of my biggest things. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff in there, but
Dogs.
Does it scare you or
dogs?
Everybody hates dogs.
Doesn't scare me, but gets to me. Yeah, I was trying to look at it. I mean,
did Blair Witch Project scare you when you first saw it?
It did.
Okay.
It doesn't anymore, but like
it scared him so bad he had like 5 trees next to each other out back, and he's like, "That forest is haunted."
Yeah, because there's also like the bigger woods a little bit farther away that we used to venture off into as well.
I know the feeling. I'm with you.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
Oh yeah, I got scared when I was a kid because I wasn't quite yet a big boy.
I think though, if you want to give me a scare, then we'll talk like say the Outwaters, because that gave me a sort of existential dread.
Okay,
and that's what scares me, if anything. Like if you can really make me think about death,
question your
like, and who I am. There you go. I'm scared.
Ross, does anything scare you?
Oh man, life scares me. I would probably say it sounds okay. So it's not necessarily scary. I mean, I'm a complete sucker for jump scares. Doesn't matter if I've known ahead of time. I will immediately, like, my body reaction is just, you know what I mean? Like every single time, whether
warning.
Just a little pediddle. I think on Brian's tip, like the ick factor, becoming a parent now, I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, child death gets to me more in films now than it ever has, which is so funny because more recent movies have astronomically more child death than any of the movies that I saw from like the 70s, 80s, or 90s combined. So it's kind of a weird, different trend. Getting used
It's a
to
new
it.
trend in horror.
New trend in horror, just kill them
Child
kids.
death.
Child death. And I think okay. So, but my actual like what gives me anxiety is really funny. It has not necessarily nothing to do with horror movies, but really awkward scenes, particularly awkward interactions between people. It's just like not like office humor, but that like level of just like an awkward situation or awkward communication for whatever reason sends my anxiety through
You're
the
like
roof.
social anxiety.
Yes, my social anxiety goes like so in a horror movie where there's just like people acting weird towards each other, to me that makes me pace the room more than like blood or guts or like because that's the real world thing where I'm like, oh no, they're just staring at each other. Oh, I hate that. Oh God, no.
Okay, so no spoilers here, but have you guys done Speak No Evil?
Oh yeah, I was just saying. No wonder you hate Speak No Evil.
Yeah.
That's a controversial episode.
It's a controversial episode because we were supposed to review the movie and then it just turned into a fanatical rant for like an hour and a half.
Wow.
We love each other. Remember that, guys? We all love each other.
We all love each other. But
I love that movie. I'm a big fan of that movie. I couldn't quite admit that I loved it at the time. I was just like, I really like it, I think.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it. I think we've talked about it on Discord.
Particularly Ross.
I was enraged, which was so funny because I was emceeing that episode, right? At the time?
Was still only you
the format doing the movie.
It was the last one, I think, before the menu.
Wow.
So like I couldn't keep my composure together. I had a script and everything, and I just threw it out. And that episode, listen to it if you want to. It's
I can't wait to listen to it.
I was gonna forget that.
All right. So the final question, we always ask this. If you can think about it, was there a single movie that you can think of that actually got you into horror, or was your gateway into horror movies? And we'll start with Brian this time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. I can think of it. Maybe what it could be would be probably something like Alien. I could see that being a movie my parents would have watched that could have been on in the house that I have early memories of being scared of that alien and those types of aliens and stuff. The only other thing might be like a Nightmare on Elm Street, but
perfect.
My family wasn't big into horror. I discovered it myself later in life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Poltergeist was mine, so I mean
awesome.
Those are very valid. Sam.
Scream. It's so So like I was a big fan of Jaws, Predator, Alien, like these monster that I just didn't think of any of this stuff as horror. They didn't scare me. I wanted to see them attack people. Like I was into it. And Scream was the first movie that scared the stuff out of me.
We're learning, we're adapting.
As soon as as soon as Drew Barrymore gets stabbed in the first scene, I stopped the movie when I rented it. And then I like maybe tried to watch a little bit more, but couldn't, and ended up seeing it the following Halloween because I was invited to like an older kid. I was in 6th grade and got invited to an 8th grade Halloween party, and they were watching it, so I had to like watch it and play it cool.
Yeah.
And I was so scared. And so that was the first thing that really like scared me. And obviously they talk about horror movies a lot, so I was like, I should start looking into horror movies because these other things, Alien, Predator, Jaws, or whatever, animal attack stuff, it never occurred to me as horror.
I really love that. Ross.
Okay, I know I always do multiple choice. I have two. A little bit of a background. One of my he called not even a nanny or a babysitter, but she was just around our household all the time. Her actual name was Buffy, and she was the manager of a video store in town, in a small town in New Jersey where I lived. And so when I used to hang out or be babysat by her, I would be with her at work. So I would be putting movies away and like rewinding stuff. And like, so I had access to a bunch of different movies. one of the first ones in elementary school was, and I'll get way more in depth in our actual episode, Monster Squad. 'Cause Monster Squad was the first movie that I had seen that was like, it's basically like Universal Monsters meets the Goonies.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the creature effects were so scary as a kid because they were not like, it was way beyond like rubber suit. Like this was such a sophisticated way of doing those monsters. So like I had seen Dracula and I'd seen Frankenstein, like the OG ones, but then seeing that was like, oh, whoa. And like, I'm kind of allowed to see this because like my parents were kind of just like, yeah, I mean, it's got a bunch of children. Like there's a Phoebe's like 4 years old in that movie. So like I raved about that. And then, the movie that kind of got me down the spiral, it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, because it was the first movie.
I did not. Sorry.
Yeah. Because it was the first movie that I independently watched on my own in my own room. As in, like most other horror movies, I was with my parents. I was at a friend's, like it was in groups and stuff like that. And this one was like, Buffy was like literally like, whatever you want to pick, like go pick it. And I was like, I want, and I just went through, and it was one of the, I guess I'm assuming newer releases. I forget when that movie came out, but I grabbed it and I was like, this one. And I went home and it was like, I'm supposed to be in bed, and I popped this thing into the VHS and I just sit there and utterly scare 10 diapers worth. You know what I mean? Like just it was just, oh my gosh. But even by myself, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare was such a fun. And then after I got that initial horror jolt, it was like game on. Like I was anything and everything horror I was just obsessed with.
That's amazing.
1994.
Yeah.
1994.
Yeah. So it probably would have been around, 94.
9.
The one thing I'll say about Monster Squad, I'm slightly older than you guys. And the one thing I really wish that Monster Squad had been part of my generation, I think it came a little bit later for me. Like I was well into high school or whatever when Monster Squad came out. So I think I remember seeing it and I thought it was cute, but
Yes.
I was already a little bit too old for it to really have it hit me. But now I watch it and I feel everybody else's nostalgia for it. And
Sure. Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to you guys talk about it. Seriously.
It's one I discovered later in life. So
It's also one I didn't watch till I was an adult because of Ross talking about it.
Oh, well, then I'm very interested to hear what you say about it.
Should be.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody, once again, go listen to Chuddle the Pod.
Whoever we are.
All three of you. And one more question: are you guys scared of mirrors?
To be totally honest with you,
You promised me you'd never forget what really happened. You promised.
I was 10 years old.
Well, I'm doing it tomorrow night. And I could really, really use your help.
Oculus was directed by Mike Flanagan. It was written by Mike Flanagan, Jeff Howard, and based on a short screenplay by Jeff Seidman. It stars Karen Gillan as Kaylee, Brendon Thwaites as Tim, Katee Sackhoff as Marie, Rory Cochrane as Alan, and Annalise Basso as young Kaylee, and Garrett Ryan as young Tim. And before we get into this movie, this is your warning that we are going to spoil every bit of this movie, this 2014 movie. So if you have not seen Oculus, feel free to pause the podcast and then come back later. However, here we go. This is the 3-minute recap, my friends. Oh, and I guess I should say Ross had to go.
Yeah, Ross doesn't here anymore.
True. Yeah.
Ross was terrified of the 3-minute recap, so he left.
He said no.
Couldn't handle it.
We're going to do this different today. We're going to do something we haven't done. We're going to do kind of like, I don't know, maybe, is it kind of like Simon Says, or what is it? Like, I'm going to have one of you start off, and then I'm just going to, whenever I say the other person's name, pick
Hop
up
back and forth.
Yeah, and see how that goes. It should be fantastic, and I love it.
Hey, we got this.
So who wants to start it?
Sam does.
Sam does.
Okay.
All right, Sam. So whenever you're ready, you have 3 minutes. And just so you know, Karen Gillan called me before this, and she said that she can't wait to hear you guys do the 3-minute recap. So.
Oh, that's great. I'm so
Especially
happy
you,
to hear
Ryan.
that.
She's very
Of course,
excited.
we're good friends.
Yeah. I can see the picture
Exactly.
behind you. So.
Very
The
natural
candid photo
picture.
we took together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, Sam, go for it.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
So this movie is told in kind of in 2 parts. It's about a brother and sister and this haunting they experience from a mirror in their house. It follows them when they're kids, and we follow them as adults. We got Karen Gillan and the other gentleman you mentioned as the adult versions, and then the kids. And because it starts with the with the brother getting out of a mental institution because he blames himself for his father's death, and his sister picks him up from there, and we find out that he has
Brian, go.
So yeah, there's this other story of the kid's story is that they've just moved into a new house presumably, and the mom Starbuck is all like, I wanted some antique stuff, not like go crazy with it. But so the dad Lucas from Empire Records buys this mirror, and it's a spooky mirror, and things start getting odd. And then we cutting back to adult versions of like Karen Gillan going to like an auction and like buying seeing this mirror again, and she's hanging out with some rich dude.
Sam, go for it.
So she gets the mirror, her brother gets out, she picks him up. He has done all this work to overcome his trauma because he killed his dad, and his dad killed his mom. He killed his dad to protect him and his sister, and he had all these crazy imaginings. At least that's what he now believes, because it was this haunting messing up the whole house. And his sister's like, you know what? Why don't you let's meet up at our old house where all this happened. I got the mirror, and she set up a whole bunch of stuff because she's gonna take out this ghost in this, like they promised each other when they were kids, this haunting, whatever it is. And so they are running this trap and this scheme to try and make this happen. Meanwhile, we're learning all the backstory of when they were kids and what actually happened in the house, and how it sort of slowly drove everybody crazy into what we already know happened to the mom getting killed.
That's right, Brian.
Yeah, and it's a spooky mirror. It does a lot of crazy things. It seems to mess with your mind and your memory, we start learning. Because as Sam said, they have like Kaylee is Karen's character. She's set up like surveillance everywhere. She's all like trying to like super scientific this stuff and like prove they're not crazy, basically. And the brother, he's trying to like be like, well, I learned all this stuff in therapy. This is the rational way to think about it, which is a fun little dynamic that they have in the beginning of this here. But then spooky things do start to happen, and it affects your memory because they go back and watch some stuff, and they're like adjusting things that they don't remember doing. And the whole time the brother's also talking about, I don't remember this happening when we were young. Do you remember it the right way? So there's this whole memory thing coming into play. And that's kind of playing throughout a big chunk of the next of it as things progressively get spookier, and we eat a light bulb.
Or do we?
And I don't remember what leads up to our pivotal like end moment. I mean, it just builds up at this point as we learn that the dad has chained the mom to the wall because she's progressively getting possessed or crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sam, help him out.
She seemed to get possessed because there was a whoosh from the mirror. She got a mirror whooshed and attacked her kids. She was seeing things, and the dad is also like vibing with this mirror lady that nobody really sees. So now he's
mirror lady.
I think the mirror lady's telling him, keep your wife like this. And then finally Kaylee sees the moms like this. I don't know. It's third act, so a lot's happening. And eventually...
Yeah, Brian, how does it end?
Well, it ends with like Kaylee going up to the mirror and getting thwacked. Okay, so she set up like this like whole defense system against the mirror, because one of the big things you also learn is that like if you go to try to destroy it, you can't. Like there's a whole scene of like them as kids like trying to hit it, and they're just smacking the wall with the golf clubs. There was one when you learn about the history of all the people that have died from it. We're probably I feel like we're gonna be coming. I have a feeling it's just under 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. And then she set up this sort of like, I don't know, this very sharp, pointy object that weighs like 20 pounds with two more 20 pounds weight anchor that's on this like spring-loaded trap that's set for a timer to go off if they don't reset it every hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
To smash the mirror. And she gets lured into like this false sense of like, I guess, security against the mirror. And then her brother goes to get up and destroy the mirror and like
smash
crank down the timer and smash the mirror. And as he does, but he doesn't see that she's in front of the mirror, and then he does that, and then
because it's in his head. Yeah, hits right in like the back of her like neck to I don't know, sternum, throat area, and she's just all like up against the mirror, dying. And then that, of course, he sees what he has done, but that didn't destroy the mirror. It doesn't seem. No,
and he gets carried off.
Don't even think it cracked it.
A police car, and then we get the parallels between the original, what happened to them as I guess kids. It's kind of all the same of them getting separated. Well, this time she's dead, and he's in a police car. He's looking in the house and sees all the ghosts. Oh, there's a part with like a whole bunch of ghostly ghosts.
Oh yeah, all the mirror victims.
And then they start doing their timer voices.
Yeah. And then the final shot, Sam. What's the final shot? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's the guy in the back of the car.
The final shot is as he's driving off, then you see from the back of Kaylee's head as she's standing in front of the house watching him being taken away.
Mm-hmm. Because she's in there now.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Bleak.
That's the movie.
I was frustrated at the end because I had a lot of problems watching like the last 2-3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. We're going to get to that.
Flex.
We're definitely going to get to that.
We'll get to
you guys, even going back and forth, you came in just under 3 minutes. So congratulations.
Nailed it. I knew we could do it. Thank you.
Real quick, just broad strokes. What did you guys think of the movie, Brian?
I enjoyed it. I wasn't scared. I was thinking about like, was I scared while I was watching this movie? That came up, and I wasn't at all during this viewing of it. And then it made me wonder if I was when I originally liked it or saw it. But overall, I enjoyed it and like was vibing with it though.
Okay.
Watch it with your big boy pants on.
Apparently.
So Sam, yes, we were watching you watch this in Discord in a way.
Yeah.
And you were trying to watch this on Plex because it's the only place that's really streaming. So tell us your experience and tell us what you thought of the movie.
So I liked the movie. I definitely liked it more than Hush. It still kind of has a dark ick to it, but I like it about this one. And yeah, I watched it on Plex, which has more commercials than Tubi. They're longer than Tubi. I swear I had like 5 commercial breaks in 20 minutes. It's like, feels like every 5 minutes. And then it dropped out at parts and I'd have to go back and find my place. And then at the end, the very end, when the dad like puts the gun up against his chest and tells the kid run, right after he said run, it cut out. And then every time I got back to that part, it would cut out right at that part again.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and further issues. So unfortunately, that very end part kind of got ruined because of the watching experience. I should have just rented it on Prime.
You didn't know.
You live and learn.
It was your first time on Plex.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Your girl Kate Siegel's in this from Hush.
Yes. So. Oh, is that your girl, Sam?
No.
He was very protective of her.
Yeah,
concerned about her getting. Yeah.
Well, that's because we haven't mentioned it, but you guys just talked about Hush on Chuddle the Pod.
Yeah, and it was my first time putting on my flannelgans, and I really didn't like it. And Scotty's like, but Mike Flanagan. Everybody likes Mike Flanagan, but I
didn't say that though.
You didn't what?
I gave you my fingers for that movie, and just to explain to everybody Chuddle the Pod, if you listen to them, their rating is 5 fingers. You know, how many fingers do you give it out of 5 fingers? So go listen, you'll understand.
And now we own some of Scotty's fingers.
Yeah, no, I agreed with you on Hush. I didn't care for Hush. I love Flanagan.
Exactly. I think you
For
wanted
Hush.
me to not give up on him and to watch something else.
Yes, that is correct. And that's why I invited you on to do Oculus. So,
Right.
and it's perfect because Andrew doesn't care for this movie from what he remembers.
Perfect. Here we are.
And now, for me, the interesting thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, I barely remembered this movie when I was watching it. I remember the first time thinking it was good, not fantastic, but this time I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought especially the whole thing with the mirror and the mirror, how it played tricks on their minds and everything. I thought that was very disconcerting, and if that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Unnerving is the better word. So
It is. It's off-putting. It gets under your skin a bit.
now, did you guys notice that this movie, one of its distributors is WWE Films?
I did.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
And I know they were doing stuff for a bit, but I didn't realize this was under their belt.
And there is an Easter egg. Wait, where is it? Yeah. So because it's WWE Studios, there's a moment in Oculus where they talk about the mirror first being documented belonging to the Levesque family. And evidently, Levesque is the real name of Triple H. So there's
okay.
wrestling Easter egg.
Yeah, that's fun.
Interesting.
So, did you guys? Let's talk about like quibbles you might have had with the movie first. So, what did you not like about this movie?
So it ended up making sense by the end because of it so illustrates the trauma they went through. But I was really unhappy with the sister, with Kaylee, through the first, I don't know, 45 minutes. Because I'm like, he just got out of this mental institution and is like finally got stuff together. And you are like fully trying to drag him back into all these things that he has been trying to conquer. You may be trying to do this, but you don't need him there. Let him go do his own thing. Yeah. Handle this yourself. That's the better thing to do, sister.
I remember having that thought and feeling the first time I watched it as well. I think on the second one, I went in remembering that. It's like, I guess I remember this movie. I remember having watched this movie. If you asked me before, I probably couldn't tell you much about it. But while I was watching it, I was right as the scene happened. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I was like, I remember disliking that part about it my first time. But this time I'm like, yeah, but this is, I was thinking about that. I was like, he's obviously been in a mental, some sort of institution and getting treatment for it. She hasn't gotten any sort of treatment for it. And she's just been letting this ruminate. And so she's not mentally well when we start the movie. It's an obsession of hers. So it makes sense that she wouldn't, I guess, really think of his well-being that hard. I don't know. That was kind of my thought process on the second round. I was like, yeah, this is a bad
and like
mirror.
I said, by the end, I can see I got it. But
so if you watched it again, you don't think you'd be as annoyed by her?
Maybe. Now, I still wouldn't like it, but now that I know the character, it makes more sense.
It's still frustrating, and I think one of the things that frustrated me the most, talking about what we mentioned earlier, dogs, is that she just was totally willing to put that cute little Boston Terrier and let it disappear into the mirror.
Absolutely.
The dog named Dog.
Which, I'll give it to them this, though. It's just the dogs disappear. That's the thing.
Right. If something was going to happen. If we were to see something as the viewer, though, they just would have disappeared. We would have seen a dog death.
I hate that. I'm not a fan of the device. I find it as a cheap gimmick to be a bad thing very easily. Yeah. And so you have it in there, fine. Not fine. You have it in there, but I don't say anything, great. Or do something ridiculous. For some reason, I didn't mind it think whatever. I won't talk about other movies, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, their old dog, when they were kids, that dog got sick and everything. So, we might have seen dog get sick, and I don't know. It was kind of cold. I know she was obsessed, but
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah.
Cool.
now here's my other question, and I want to know if you guys thought of this. So the mirror takes life from pets, from plants, and it kills plants.
Mm-hmm.
So why were the bushes and the grass right outside the window where the mirror was, why were they fine?
Yeah, I thought about that too. Because its influence can its influence get outside? Did any time we see the characters outside, were they actually out there, or was it just in their heads?
I don't know. I don't think a wall really, as far as the movie goes, it doesn't seem like walls stop the range of influence of the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would have been cool if they had some dead bushes outside the room.
Absolutely.
I think it was just.
It's
I think it was
pulling
something
its
they
power
missed.
from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for it during the movie for sure while I was watching
That
it.
definitely
Every
makes
time they went
sense.
outside.
I didn't think of that once, but now that I do,
Ooh.
thumbs down. Thanks, Scotty.
One upside down thumb.
So, what did you guys think of the acting? So now, this is what I wanted to ask you, Sam.
Yeah.
Because I know that Brian had a photo op with Karen Gillan, so he's okay. But Sam,
because of Oculus.
Because of Oculus, yeah. Sam, this is the third podcast episode I've done with you, and I've always noticed the Doctor Who painting behind you.
Exploding TARDIS back there.
At you or your wife?
I'm playing golf.
Both of us. Yeah.
Okay. So, who's your favorite Doctor of the newer Doctors?
Ooh, it's Matt Smith or Tennant. It goes back and forth. I flip flop.
So were
But
you?
Those would be the two. And I actually haven't seen the newest Doctor. I haven't finished Jodie Whittaker Doctor stuff, so I haven't seen the new gentleman.
I've seen him in the Christmas episodes, and he's fantastic, in my opinion. So.
Mm-hmm. So I forgot. I remember this movie coming out because I was a fan of Doctor Who, and it was like her first movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see it at the time and just never did. I feel like somebody saw it and told me it wasn't very good. Might have been Brian.
I could have not liked it at the time. I wasn't as heavy into horror at the time, I don't think.
Okay.
I was very into Doctor Who and sci-fi stuff, but I was probably like, this is... I don't know how I was.
I don't know.
Well, what did you think of Karen Gillan in this? That's what I was.
I thought she was great, except for the first words we hear her speak when she says no. She sounds Scottish, so I was like, does she have her accent in this? And then no, she doesn't. The rest of the movie was fine, but the first thing she says, she's like, no. I was like, oh.
And she does like that whole monologue. Like she does the whole monologue talking about the history of the mirror and all the people that the mirror have killed. Has killed over time, and she doesn't. There's no hint of an accent at all. I thought she did really well.
I think she did great too. And her brother Brendon Thwaites, he's Australian. I saw. So
is he?
Yeah, he is. Now wait,
you didn't see the Falsters in his hand the whole time.
Do you guys know him from? You said
I don't.
Something. Oh, maybe not. He was in.
I know the.
Katee Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, that's right. You said, I thought it was funny, Brian, because you said, what's his face? Rory Cochrane, who played Alan. You said
Lucas.
from Empire Records. And I know him from Dazed and Confused.
Okay.
Come on, guys. You guys seen that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
okay. Of course.
I was going to say it.
Is he the guy who talks about George Washington growing pot?
Yeah. The guy with the really long hair.
Long hair, yeah. And
Yeah.
He's so good. So, yeah, I thought he was great. I thought Katee Sackhoff was amazing.
Yeah, I thought all the acting was top notch. Even the kids.
Yeah, the kids. I mean, the little boy seemed, new, like a new actor, and he was learning, but he did really good.
New to life, that kid.
New to life, yes. Katee Sackhoff, evidently, she came up with her own, like, kind of parkour movement for when she got possessed by the mirror.
Interesting.
And I thought that was really effective because there's the part where she's running up the stairs after the kids and they close the door, and that shot of her running at the door as they close it was terrifying to me.
I liked it. I liked all of that a lot, and it gave me big Evil Dead Rise vibes. It gave me Magamori vibes. Which
I see that.
That taking some inspiration from this performance too. Yeah, for sure.
Did you guys like the way the movie was paced, like going back and forth between the past and the present?
I would have liked it to get into it sooner, to be honest, and really go wild with it, make it even more surreal. Actually, at the very end, when it was going through and showing the kid and the adult version of Tim screaming the same stuff outside the house, I thought we were going to see that all still being in his head, and it was going to be even another twist, but nope.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're showing us, the audience, flashbacks, but it seemed like also they were showing. It seemed like
them.
Yeah, they were actually seeing the flashbacks happen in front of them.
And sometimes they'd be in them, or like there was a time where like somebody's walking up the stairs and one of the kids runs by. And it starts blending. I don't need it to go full like Eternal Sunshine surrealism, but like it could have, played with it further, mixed it together more.
The question I had was, there's the part where adult Tim, goes to his bedroom and he's looking at young Tim, and young Tim looks up at him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So they didn't really talk about time loops. Wink, wink, Chuddle the Pod.
Down to avoid.
I'm out.
But I wondered if little Tim saw older Tim when he was a kid.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you think?
Seems doable.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I think very much. Let me word correct.
I think very much.
I think very much. Yes. I mean, it just depends on the circumstance that you believe to be true. Because I think you could walk out of this still being like, did all these events really happen, or was it all in their head still?
What's real, right?
What's real and what's not? Is he a killer? Did his family just go crazy and all kill themselves? Whatever type of thing. Because realistically, it's still all just told through our narrator's eyes. And then one of the first things we're told about him is that he was in an institution or whatever for a long time. So I think it did all happen. I think it's a haunted butt mirror. And it's what I did.
That's what you did. See, that's why the ending kind of confused me. Because like we said, you see Karen Gillan, or you see Kaylee. Jesus. Kaylee. You see Kaylee standing in the front, like, doorway, watching him being driven away. And my first thought was, oh, wait, is she actually alive? Did any of that actually really happen? Or was that all in his head? And now he's being taken away. But then the cops saw the video of her being impaled by the anchor. So I was like, no, she's dead.
Yeah, she's in the mirror now. Because we see the shot of the parents and her in the house with the white eyes looking at him as he's like being put in the car. So I think it was just like they cut the parents out of the shot and just had her, but it was still the ghost her watching him go off.
But again, it's that moment is a little confusing because it's the kid. It's little Tim looking out of the car being taken away. And then you see the parents and Kaylee sitting in the window. So it's like it's going back and forth, and it's really messing with the audience's perception.
What is real?
I mean, I think
it's movie.
I think it's again, the end part it mirrors those two moments together, and you're going in between it so much. So I think when he's being put in as a little kid, we're seeing as a little kid, and we're seeing the parents in there. That's what he was seeing as a little kid, and then we're also just very quickly moving into present day, and you're seeing Kaylee in there at that moment. So, and then we do see him again as older him in the back of the car going away.
Yeah.
I forget what moment it exactly leaves on, but I think, it's supposed to be, again, just continuing to blend between those two things and showing those two different moments. And in both those instances, he saw glowing eye ghost people, which seemingly, if you're killed or affected by the mirror, you become a glowing eye ghost person.
What did you think of that effect?
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Nothing
like
too like groundbreaking, not groundbreaking at all, but effective.
Right. And where is this in Flanagan's career? Early,
This is his
right?
first big theatrical. This came before Hush.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I think that's a perfect, I don't want to say safe because that sounds kind of mean-ish to say, but a perfect kind of like first movie in terms of playing with a ghosty type of thing that's been done before, but in a fun, interesting way. With the storyline and how he's telling the story and the way we're moving through things.
It's like we're getting the ghost story and like the living with the ghost story, and they're told at the same time.
And you're not breaking the budget.
Very complicated story to tell for your first time, like the way it ends up going. Complex.
Well, I think that's what's important to the normalcy of the ghost story to it, telling a ghost story in an interesting way. Very much so benefited him.
Now, Sam, I know you've only seen Hush. Brian, have you seen many other Flanagan stuff? Have you seen Hill House? That was a terrible sentence, by the way. Terrible grammar. So
it's because of
I
me.
love it.
I have that effect of talking bad.
Have you seen many other Flanagan projects?
Ish. I guess not so much. I've seen Midnight Mass and I've watched Fall of the House of Usher, which I really enjoyed. When I first started, I was like, okay, but by the end of it, I was like, this is solid. I think in terms of what he was doing in the world of Poe and being kind of respectful. I'm not like a huge Poe head or anything like that, but so I thought it was just kind of cool.
What I was going to ask you though, without getting into those, what I was going to ask you is, could you tell? Did anything feel Flanagan-ish with Oculus? Could you tell what he would become when you were watching Oculus?
I don't know. Maybe the kind of like the heaviness to it. This stuff always feels kind of heavy in some regards. I think
only having seen Hush, it felt similar. Honestly, like I could tell it was the same filmmaker. Yeah, because there is this sort of like a heaviness to it, a sort of darkness, bleakness. Like it's kind of, it's not a good feeling, but it is a good feeling. At least in this case, not in my case for Hush, but other people think so, and I'm happy that they can have that experience.
Well, I think, the reason that you might accept this a little bit more, Sam, is the paranormal aspect to it makes it, I guess, more movie. It's not as like, I don't know, real world guy torturing.
And the surrealism of it, of the stories intertwining and past and present and what's real, because the first part of it, I was like, I don't think I'm going to end up liking this. When it was just the sister and the brother arguing, and it's like, but by the end, especially because of the end, because it ended on like a sour note, but like a warhead, I like it. So
isn't that kind of the opposite of how it usually goes for you, Sam? Like usually, from my experience, you usually start liking a movie and then it kind of goes south for you.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. That is usually how it goes, but not in this case.
Here's the thing. I mentioned Oculus and you had only seen Hush, and I said, this is the movie I should do with Chuddle the Pod. So I reached out and you were the one that answered. And I was like, would you guys want to do Oculus? And Sam was like, yes, that's awesome. And then I mentioned it in the Discord and Brian comes in and he's like, yeah, I've seen it. It's fine. And I'm like, damn it. And I'm like, did I pick the wrong movie? Should I pick like It or Fright Night or something amazing? No, I'm glad.
Oh, you don't want to hear us on those.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
More like...
don't do it.
Slight Night? God damn it. Slight Fright?
Slight Fright? Fright Slight? I don't know.
Anyway, we're talking about my favorite horror movie of the 80s, guys.
It, more like shit.
There it is.
What was it when you said Godzilla -1? More like
Godzilla minus fun. Ever since I got you with that, now like am just like walking around in my everyday, if it's a movie comes up, I'll be like, oh, how can I make that title sound dull?
How can I trigger Scotty this time?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you got me good with Godzilla though, man. But anyway, back to Oculus. What'd you guys think about her biting into a light bulb?
Got me good.
I mean,
Let's talk about
Mentioned
this
it in
stuff.
that little
There's some
wrap-up,
gruesome things here.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there's two gooey things that kind of kick off our goo. And this was the second one. And when it happened, I was like, "Ugh," like I opened my mouth so as not to feel the glass close into it. It was
So if this is the second
That's
one,
great.
because I'm thinking of something that happens after this. What was the first one for you?
the fingernail.
Oh, of course, with the
yeah.
staple remover.
Thingies.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a third one though that I don't think you're remembering.
Maybe
And
not.
that is Marie, or mirror possessed Marie, chained up in the bedroom, biting into a plate, a broken
Mhm.
plate, and her teeth just breaking off, her blood just coming out of her mouth. That guy.
Yeah, it was
Funny.
gross. It I don't know why. I think maybe it's my zombie blindness. Not that she was a zombie, but she's like possessed looking. There's
Yeah.
something about when someone doesn't look regular human anymore, the gore doesn't get to me so much.
Mhm.
I have
Interesting.
learned.
No, I usually agree with that, but it was just something still about a human being biting into a glass plate or ceramic plate and breaking it
Mhm.
with their teeth and their teeth breaking with it. Ah,
Honestly, you saying it was worse than me watching it.
there you go.
The light bulb. The light bulb was fun.
The light bulb was
Just-
good, and then it's just the apple, and she's like reaching in her mouth.
Just-
Yeah, it was,
Yeah. But the way you live in that moment for a little bit, where she's just
Mhm.
like mouth agape,
yeah, because that's all I'm thinking is like you cannot close your mouth even a little
it's
bit.
immediately like, oh my god, what do I do?
Yeah. Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
How
Is
bad
it-
is this? Like you probably think you're
Anyone
probably
around
like,
that can help me?
yeah.
See, and this
Yeah.
is something to me that Flanagan does so well, and it's also the whole setup of that moment. The moment she puts down the apple next to the glass, the light bulb,
Mhm.
you know that she's gonna pick up the wrong thing and bite into it, and you're just waiting for it to happen.
Oh yeah.
And then Flanagan doesn't really hold back from showing you enough, not showing you everything, I think, but showing you enough that it just really wrenches your guts out.
Yeah, it's certainly not excessively gruesome, but you feel it
Definitely.
just enough.
Come on, feel it, feel it.
Were you guys okay with, so before I actually ask the question, one thing that has become a big trope in horror movies is possessed dads.
Sure.
But I kind of was okay with it in this movie. And there's other movies that I'm just like, oh, I'm just so tired of it. Like the dads always get possessed. And then you watch the bonus features and the filmmakers are like, oh, and there's just something so disturbing about the father of the family turning against them. And I'm like, yeah, we've heard that so many times. And they even said that in the bonus features of this one. But
oh, did they?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did like how it was a slow possession, first of all, and she got possessed as well. It wasn't just him.
Totally. And I like that he wasn't like torturing the whole family or anything. He just seemed interested in whatever the possession was going on with the wife and like ignoring the kids, which was kind of sad. They're like, Dad, we need groceries. And just like, yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah. And he's just staring into the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Staring at that mirror.
I liked, and we get two different types of descent into madness between the mom and the dad, because the mom gets like the whoosh from the mirror and is just kind of gone. She sees her C-section like ripped open and gross looking.
Yeah.
And then attacks her kid. But the dad slowly, he already was biting his fingernails, and then it gets worse, and then he's just kind of looking at the mirror so often, and eventually all he does is sit in the office and stare into the mirror. But it's subdued for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, he keeps seeing the lady, right? Because he like.
Yeah.
Is she's like entrancing? So it's like, yeah,
well, who knows what's going on in his head? I guess when he's watching the mirror, because we know what it can do to your head, right? So
yeah, because little Kaylee sees Marisol is the ghost lady's name, but it's Kate Siegel. And she sees him sees her behind her dad. And then right before the whoosh part that you just talked about, Marie finds the paper where he's written Marisol over and over again on this paper, and she thinks that he's cheating on her.
Right.
Right. But it's clearly like insane handwriting. That is not like the handwriting you do when you love somebody. That's like, is he gonna kill somebody named Marisol? What is going on here?
I absolutely love the way the mirror is actually, it's seducing him, but the moment Marie turns against the mirror, because she throws something at the mirror,
Oh
and of
yeah.
course she misses, and that's when the mirror's like, whoosh, no, F that, we're not doing that. And then it possesses her, and then she goes after her kids.
Yeah. I do like how we never really get a backstory. I mean, we get the past ownership of the mirror, but we never learn like what the mirror is possessed by or origin or anything to that effect. It just seems to take whoever it comes near, I guess, like kills and like takes their souls and like
confuses them,
steals their energy,
confuses them, and tries to kill them.
Stronger. I thought of a slight quibble that I forgot about is once we started getting really into the imagination and not knowing what's real, I thought for sure that the kid was going to kill the dad with the laser gun because they're playing with laser guns so much, and then be in reality and he's holding a real gun.
Oh yeah. That's an interesting.
Or at least we got some sort of laser gun to real gun reality flip. But
I see what you're saying.
Never happened.
That would have been interesting.
Was waiting for it.
But we do have the scene right before the kid shoots him. That's freaking heartbreaking when Marie is choking Kaylee, little Kaylee, and then she comes out of her possession. She is devastated at what she was just trying to do. But then right then, that's when he comes in and shoots her.
Yep.
Because he's really taken over by the mirror.
Katee Sackhoff, I thought, also did a really great job at expressing, like, you know, with no words, I am possessed and now I am now your mom. Like, in her face.
Yeah.
I saw that too. Why do you think she is released of her possession? Why do you think she stopped choking out the daughter? I mean, I guess, a
I thought it was just
that,
to, like, mess with her.
Exactly. Like, because the mirror was possessing the dad and knew the dad was about to come in and, like, kill the mom. So it's like, it'll be more fun to release it of possession and, I don't know.
That's
just
evil.
be evil about it.
Yeah.
I thought, in my eyes, her love for her children overcame the evil of the mirror in that moment.
Oh, that's sweet. I was like, what an evil demon.
I think I wanted our demon to be more evil. I thought of both of those options. I was like, evil sounds.
Wow.
Pure evil.
And
Sounds
also
the
little girl getting choked, did it really soul getting choked? I was like, oh, God. Even to the point where I'm like, is that red makeup on her face or is she just like making her face this red?
Yeah, and that made me think of back when I was a kid and I used to do that. Like I would
look in the mirror and
make my face turn red. I would and then my parents would be like, don't do that. You
don't do that.
Burst a blood vessel.
Mm-hmm.
I passed out doing that once.
On
my head on a coffee table.
On purpose. Remember when we used to make ourselves pass out on purpose as kids? Did you ever do that?
Yes, unfortunately. At the local skating rink in the boys' room.
Oh, wow. We did it in band practice. I remember there was a trick to it, and it took two people, and the one person would hyperventilate, and then the other person would immediately press in on that person's chest when they held their breath, and then they'd pass out. But there was this one kid in the drum section with me, and he would kick his legs out when he passed out. He'd just like kind of start flailing around, and we thought it was hilarious. And now I'm older, and I'm thinking that's horrible and terrifying.
I know, it is horrible. I also did it a little bit in high school as well. It was the dumbest thing in the world. But someone would do that and cross their arms, and someone would like hug them from behind and it would make them dead, but then they're also holding them so they wouldn't fall.
I saw people doing that. I never did that. I just brought myself to the edge.
Yeah. I never did it myself. I didn't even bring myself to the edge. I was scared of getting hurt at all times. So
you should have. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I can't. Ugh.
Well, I don't think I did it after I passed out and hit my head.
So, one thing Andrew and I always talk about with these movies is the music. Did you guys notice the music in this one? It was composed by the Newton brothers, who are Mike Flanagan mainstays. They've done pretty much everything that Mike Flanagan has done. They've composed the score for. So, did you guys notice it? Did you like it?
I did not notice it. What I could tell you if I was trying to describe it to you would just be that it's moody and fits what's happening, but doesn't stand out.
Yes.
I agree. Which, I mean, I think can be
Which there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
It made me stay within the movie where I wasn't like, well, this music's a little weird, but it was good.
They've definitely done more melodic scores since that one. This was a more atmospheric score. There was a lot of moments where it was just like this pulsing, like, you know, and I don't know if my microphone's going to pick that up for this, but
I heard some of your
whatever. It was.
I heard a little womp.
womp.
I heard a little womp myself. Finally, the last thing I have to say, and then I'll hand it over to you guys if you got anything else. I liked the ending in that it took me 2 watches of this movie this past week because I watched it twice, as I always do. Once for enjoyment, second time for notes. And the second time, I noticed how the movie lets you know that Kaylee is standing in front of the mirror before Tim
does
that thing. Yeah, because in Kaylee's mind, she's remembering herself as a little girl, and then she's seeing her mom in the mirror, and she's hugging her mom. Incredibly touching. But the second time I noticed that is what Kaylee's seeing in her head, and she's standing in front of the mirror where Tim can't see this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was devastating to me.
That is interesting. I'm sure I'll watch this again one day. But what I thought was going to happen when the mom hugged the little Kaylee in the mirror was that we were going to find out she had been secretly possessed this whole time, and this was all some thing to get trapped Tim.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I do like, and I was thinking about how because there's the whole thing of the mirror doesn't allow you to harm it, essentially.
Yeah.
And the only time that it did get hurt is when the gun shot the dad. The dad was directly in front of the mirror, and then it hit the mirror, and it like broke and chipped it in the corner. So I was like, do you think the device would have ever worked? I think the reason it was allowed to work, the mirror allowed it to work because it was going to kill someone else, and it had that plan set up in place.
Yeah.
And like the only way maybe you could actually probably hurt the mirror is if it was like thinking it's killing someone else, and like something goes through the person it kills and actually hurts the mirror. But do you think it would have ever allowed that hook thing to come down if there wasn't anyone like to actually harm it?
It would have like just fallen to the ground, like detached
Something
from
would
the
have
lever or something. Yeah.
Caused it would have like shot off to the side or something. Yeah.
I can tell you, watching this movie a second time in 1 week, you just feel this dread coming up because it is a hopeless thing. Like you're saying, it's not that the mirror's not going to allow it to fall. I don't think the mirror could have stopped it from actually just triggering and falling, but the mirror was smart enough to make sure that when it was going to fall, there was somebody standing in front of it. And it wasn't the first time it did that. There was the other time where it hypnotized Kaylee, and she woke up and found herself like just standing there in front of the mirror. Remember? And then she's like, "Oh crap!" And then she moves away, and she's like, "That was good. You almost got me."
But it's because the fact that he turns the timer,
right?
Because
the mirror
like
makes him do it early.
Left.
Yeah,
but it allows him maybe to do that or something. I think that's just like I'm adding my evil levels to this mirror. I just want like the evilest mirror possible. That's like invincible, like a God level. This is like a 10 level villain type of thing. Mirror, like it's unkillable.
It's almost.
Well, this is the levels I'm putting in my head. Well, maybe it's on.
I'm thinking
level.
Maybe the reason why it couldn't get hurt before isn't because it's like manipulating reality, right? Because it can't do that. It manipulates inside somebody's head. So maybe when they're throwing something at it or trying to hit it with a golf club, it's doing something in their heads that's keeping it from happening.
Yeah, they think that they're actually hitting the mirror, but they're not. They're hitting the side of the wall next to the mirror.
Well, I thought they knew they were hitting it, but they just couldn't. And the reason they can't is because it's in their head stopping them, not because there's like a shield around it or something.
I
Or some
think
sort of force.
I think
Like if they went in, set up that timer, and left the house immediately,
Right.
would the mirror been able to
I don't think so.
stop that device
No.
from killing itself?
I don't think so. So
I think it
instead,
needs
it
a
tricks
human
them into
to-
staying there.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way it
Mhm.
defends itself. But so it seems to work. I mean, it's never been defeated, so it's pretty strong mirror. It's got a little chip in it. But
And
that
I do
doesn't
see
seem to
I
hurt
see
it.
the golf club scene differently from you, Sam, because I definitely think that in their heads, even though we don't see what's going in their heads, we see it from the profile, the side view, and we see them, and I think that they think that they're hitting the mirror, and then when they just they immediately realize that they're not. They're hitting the side of the mirror.
I can see why you'd say that because of what we see there, but doesn't she say something earlier about like you don't remember about why they can't hurt the mirror? And it goes to that. But I guess they would know afterwards
realize that
they
later
didn't do
because
any
there's-
real damage.
There's a shot early where it shows them where we think that they are actively hitting it. And we
Right.
don't get more explanation on that until later, and then we learn that they weren't. So
Right.
yeah,
And then-
again, it's like all the memories are so. It's like
Right.
this weird
Mhm.
memory time wibbly wobbly.
And the brother talks about memories and how reliable it is, and he has all sorts of interesting psychological memory facts in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, there's also the scene where he picks up the chair. She tells him to go ahead and try, and he picks up the chair, but he never even swings at the mirror. And the next thing you know, he's put the chair down. He doesn't even realize
Right.
Hmm. But it's
So-
played off in a way that he's like, you
Well,
gotta
like, I
shatter
don't
your
even
own
need
demons
to.
type of thing.
Mhm.
Like I shouldn't have to be the one to.
Because at
break
this point, the
mirror.
audience still doesn't really know. Audience
that's
could
a-
go either way
Yeah.
up until the reveal.
Hmm. But then we get the shot of them like when they go back and play back the tape of them actually like
I love
moving the
that.
cameras, and that's all fun and everything. Yeah, that's a
And
beautiful-
That was really cool.
I did love that. And it was also so frustrating to me because there will never be proof that the mirror is supernatural because the mirror is just constantly
Right.
making them do stuff. So when the police look at these
Mhm.
videotapes, it's just going to be them setting this stuff up and acting weird. It's not going to be like a ghost making things move like in any other haunted movie.
Mirror
Exactly.
is
It's going to see
so
him
bleak.
go over to the timer when his sister's standing in front of the mirror and
Yeah,
him
and just-
purposely turning the
Yeah.
timer. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Smart.
So-
You should have
Yeah.
checked the monitor first, because in theory, you would have seen it on the monitor, right?
Maybe.
Because she doesn't see all the. That was kind of a cool part where there's all the broken plate all over the ground,
Yeah.
and she pulls out her phone and can see that it's not all really there through the phone camera.
But then the
Okay.
mirror messes with her head again because she broke the pottery vase.
Yeah, do you think
Broke
she actually killed him?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Because she showed it on the phone.
That's
And
true.
then isn't his
and they
ghost
kind
there?
of do that to. Right, but that could just be a.
I
oh,
think
you
any
mean
ghost we see, like a glowy
I
eyed
follow
ghost.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant when she sees him and chooses to ignore him.
No, his glowy eyes
Mhm.
are there.
Yeah.
So do you think so why was he there at all? Do you think he couldn't get through to her or it somehow influenced him? Like her contact with him allowed it to influence him to pull him there?
He probably couldn't get through to her if like at one point like because their setup is that every hour he's supposed to call her on the phone. I think he probably just didn't
Mhm.
get a hold of her at one of those times because one point she's like, I just talked to him again, but who knows if that was actually him. There's a 50-50
Right.
shot that was a real phone call, and it probably wasn't. And so
Mhm.
he didn't get through, so he came to the house, and the mirror probably knew that was going to happen. So like, yeah, bring it on in. I'll take some more. Yeah.
And she set that up earlier when she told her brother that she told her fiance that the reason he's supposed to call her is because she's scared to be alone with her brother. So of course, if he can't get through to her, he's going to go check
Mhm.
on her.
Right. Yeah.
Because-
He's just mentally unstable. And she really hammers that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, geez, I'm right. I'm in the room. He says something like that. Like one of those fun moments.
It's like, whatever. Yeah.
But if what they said is
She's all
true, there
business.
is a range of like influence.
Area of
for the mirror.
influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
For
I don't
sure.
think the mirror could have influenced her fiance from wherever he was.
Afar, yeah.
until he got there. But man, how heartbreaking is that?
That's a tough one. That's
It-
just what evil mirror. It wants
It would
to
have hit
hurt
me
you.
harder if we got their relationship a little bit more.
Sure.
And it's also happening at such a surreal time. I guess they do confirm it with that camera thing we just talked about, but I already forgot that and was like, was that real or not? So it's I think if it had been a little more grounded and, if we maybe had one sort of cutesy scene between them.
Also,
Sure.
I was semi-distracted, even though I wasn't distracted by any of the other actors who were also in famous things and more famous things that I have actually seen all of. Every time I saw that guy, I just kept thinking it's the guy from One Tree Hill. And
I haven't
he
seen
was,
it.
I think he
I
was
don't know
the
that
dad.
guy.
I think he was the dad in One Tree Hill or something. It was one of the
Which
first
guy's-
shows that I actually worked on when I started doing what I do. So,
That got killed?
yeah, the
husband?
fiance.
Oh, gotcha.
Fiance.
Fiance. Well, do you guys have anything else that
Fiance.
you want to talk about before we get to 3 questions?
I am even more interested in exploring Mike Flanagan now because
Ooh.
I understand it might not all hit for me, but I think I like the kind of darkness he's playing with.
Then my job here is finished. This is exactly what I wanted to do.
Nailed it. Good job, Scotty. Thank you.
There we go.
He dabbles in different darkness. A little bit of darkness for everyone. There's some darkness for everyone. there.
Brian, have
Yeah.
you seen Gerald's Game real quick?
No.
Okay.
That's Stephen King, right?
Stephen King that Mike Flanagan directed.
Yeah, and the kid from E.T.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
I'm pretty sure he is because I heard him on a post-mortem, the Mick Garris show.
Okay. What were you saying, Brian?
I said, I'm curious about Dr. Sleep now. I wasn't before when it came out, but knowing that he was involved seems interesting.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Sleep is a favorite of mine, of his, and I
Talk
guarantee you
about-
that it will pop up on Fun with Horror sometime soon.
Exciting.
Do you think I should watch The Shining first? I mean,
Yes,
obviously.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, no question.
Which
I've
one? The
never
TV
seen it.
miniseries?
Yes, exactly. The TV miniseries with
The
My
Mick
wife and I
Garris
tried to
one
watch that again recently. It's fun.
with Steven Weber.
yeah, that Stephen
The
King
one that,
actually
interesting.
wrote.
Interesting
Yeah, and
scenes.
approved of. Yeah.
Yeah, of course he did.
All right, well, let's get to
This is
3
like the book,
questions.
from what I understand. Yeah.
Now I'll say
Please.
it. Let's get to 3 questions. You guys have heard the podcast before. You know what they're going to be. So, first question, we'll start with Brian.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
Brian, what did you think was the best kill or death in this movie? And just to remind you, we had 3 kills. We have Marie, who was killed by her husband. He shot her. Then we had Alan, the husband, who was shot by his kid. And then we have Kaylee. So, yeah, what was your favorite, pal?
Come on, it's Kaylee's kill. I mean, it's shocking. That's probably why I didn't like the movie when I first saw it. To be
Not
honest,
enough kills, no gore.
no, they
kinda
fucking they
boring.
killed the. I was really into Doctor Who and Amy Pond at
Yeah.
the time, so I was like, oh, they fucking killed Amy Pond. This
Killed her
movie's
at
not
the
that
end.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. Oh, damn it! I said, oh my god. Okay, once I start cussing, it just starts flowing out. Apparently, I'm
Like
sorry.
a Pringle.
Yeah, it just popped out. I like hot mustard. I'm lost in my thoughts right now. That's the best kill.
I get lost
It's shocking. It's quick, and
in
it's
your thoughts.
a very good one.
Sam, what did you think?
That kill, obviously, if that's not the best, if that's not the answer for all 3 of us, there's something wrong with the person who doesn't say that one.
No, this was a pretty easy one. A lot of times Andrew and I might disagree for very good reasons, but this was
Sure.
absolutely the most effective and the most brutal kill in the movie. It was
Mm-hmm.
gruesome. It was emotional. It sucked,
Mhm.
but it was really well done. So number 2, Sam. Sam.
See?
Did you think this movie was scary?
No. I didn't. I mean, if you're a kid, I guess you could be scared by this, but or maybe you don't even watch horror movies regularly. I don't know, but any horror movie fan, it's a lot of your standard fare. What's cool about it is it's sort of with different twists and just done a little differently. It's not even necessarily twist, just different, not your standard fare.
Yeah.
But no, I remain the biggest boy there ever was. Gigantic.
And you don't get scared. I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier that I wasn't really scared on my watch for this, but that's because I've seen it before. But I think this is a great beginner horror movie. I think people could get very scared by this one.
Sure.
I think it has plenty of good moments, and the gore is just enough. I think the scares are just enough. I think it's really good for, like I said, a beginner. I remember when the year I got that picture that I took with Karen, I went to a panel of Doctor Who things she was doing, and people were mentioning Oculus at the time. So it had come out when this had happened.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were younger than me, and they really liked the movie. There's more than a few people talking about it to that effect. Good. So I think again, that was probably beginner-ish range for someone, and I think is a good point for it.
Would have been a good middle school sleepover movie.
Oh, I think it'd be great for that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I mentioned it earlier too. I just find this movie unnerving. Usually movies about hauntings can scare the hell out of me to an extent. Yeah, I mean, Paranormal Activity is still the scariest movie I've ever seen. And that one kept me awake for a couple of weeks. But other movies, they scare me when I watch them, like the first half of Insidious or The Conjuring. This movie kind of got under my skin a little bit differently just because of how the mirror manipulates the people and their grasp on reality.
Yeah.
That kind of really unnerved me during the movie. So
it's
and it also
what did you say earlier? The unnerving. It's an unnerving concept. The fact when you literally have to question reality. For some reason, in something like this, it doesn't bother me so much, but things like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, when it's you don't know who to trust, anybody could be whatever, could be a cult or aliens or whatever, that stuff really unsettles me.
Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't scare me.
Never. And finally, guys, both of you, did you have fun with horror?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I had fun on here.
Yes. But watching the movie.
I know. No, not really. It's pretty, it's on the heavier side. It ends on a down note.
What about you, Brian?
I mean, I had fun with it. If I'm using fun as just I don't know. I'm using it in a weird word way.
In a weird word?
Weird word way.
I don't talk right all the time, people. Listen to Chuddle the Pod. It's a lot of this.
No, it's great. This is something I love this because this is Andrew and I constantly have different definitions of what we consider fun in a movie, And we've had movies. I just mentioned this to Colby when we did the coffee table episode. We've had movies that are not fun in the least, but they're still good movies. And that's fine.
Sure,
and I love that our question isn't just, did you think the movie was good? It's, did you have fun watching the movie, And I know, Sam, besides just the movie being heavy, I know you didn't have fun because Plex made it a lot less fun.
I'm going to punch Plex in the face if I see it.
Yeah, you do that. You punch that Plex. And, I did have fun. I had fun because I did not remember anything about this movie except for the mirror itself. I barely remembered that Karen Gillan was in it, and I'm sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. I can't remember if I saw this before I watched Amy Pond on Doctor Who, because I know she's by far of all the newer companions, she's my favorite Doctor Who companion.
Okay,
the Ponds
more than Rose.
Great. Yeah,
but
I know. I'm there.
Yeah, you're there.
11. Where's my tattoo?
Oh.
I mean, there it is. I mean, it's a Doctor Who related tattoo.
Semi-matching tattoo with my wife.
Yeah, real funny. It's that's one of my favorite things.
For everybody listening, Brian just showed off a tattoo of 11 hash marks. So,
and the hash
marks
are
his favorite Doctor is Matt Smith. Oh, yeah, and the silence, yes. Yeah, that too.
Hey kids, do me a favor and don't ever chew your nails like your father. It's gross.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, okay. He's Dad. I'm Marie.
Who's that lady in your office today?
Yeah, Dad. Who was that lady in your office today?
What lady?
I don't know, just some lady.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for being on.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you for having us.
Love the
Telling
show.
us
I love our new
lather
friendship
on,
that we have. I
talk
love that
over
we're
each
your new
other.
best friends, and Andrew now has to come on
Just
Chuddle the
continue
Pod to
like
win you
this.
back.
Make this an editing nightmare for you.
Everything's turning up, Chuddle.
It's okay. I'm just gonna mute. I'm gonna mute Brian's track here, so to make it sound like Sam's the only one talking. It's great.
Oh, I mute tracks all the time.
It's like I wanted you guys to be on immediately after I was on Chuddle the Pod. One thing I didn't say earlier, and I'm going to say it right now, is, I was telling you guys that I listen to some of the more highly listened to podcasts, and some of them are legitimately great, and I'm talking in the horror community.
Right.
But no names, there are a bunch that I listen to, and I'm like, the stuff that I listen to is way better than this. And Chuddle the Pod legitimately is one of my favorite podcasts out there. I'm serious.
Knock it off.
I told Andrew
that.
this.
Is very flattering.
When you guys messaged me and were like, hey, would you like to be on Chuddle the Pod? I was like, I'll let you know. And then I went and I listened to you guys.
Smart.
And I listened and I was like, hell yes. This is the vibe.
Yeah, it is. And I'm glad you're in the Discord, part of the community.
Love it.
Absolutely. I love our blossoming friendship. Happy birthday, Scotty.
Thank you, guys. Everybody out there, thank you for listening. Go find our social medias. And I'm talking all of us. Chuddle the Pod has a Discord. Go listen to Chuddle the Pod if you haven't. Like, seriously, if you haven't, I'm boggled because I have pimped you guys out so many times. Go listen to Chuddle the Pod. Go join all their social medias. Go join the Fun with Horror social medias, and go join our Patreon. For Pete's sake.
Yeah.
Get in
Next week, Andrew and I will be back. Patronize. Andrew and I will be back. We're going to talk about the movie Magic from, I believe, 1978. I don't know. Those years.
I can't remember, but how serendipitous was it that you just got that was it a CD that you just got?
Yeah.
I thought that was so fun hearing that story, how that worked out.
Yeah, and then I bought the movie because Andrew has access to my Apple account, so that way I can get movies and he can watch them. Believe me, he's like one of the few people in this world that I trust with everything. So I sent him an Apple TV with my account on it, and I'm like, here, you can just have access to all my movies, buddy. Nice. And that way, whenever I get movies for the podcast, he can watch them.
Yeah, you both have them.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly.
So,
absolutely.
So he saw that I had, he saw that I had bought Magic, and he was like, that's going to be my next movie, and I was going to pick it myself. So serendipity.
Awesome.
Worked out. I love it.
All right. Well, everybody out there, we love you. Chuddle guys, I love you.
We love you. I love you.
Brian, I love you.
I love you.
Ross, wherever you are.
I love you.
I love you. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Brian, say bye.
Bye.
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, hi, I just called 2705 Hawthorne.
You're going to have your father call. Pabanta Rabuda Tamara. Pabanta Rabuda Tamara. Pabanta Rabuda Tamara.